Hey guys, thank you so much for being hosts and helpers on Alpha Online at St Philip's at the moment. We're so glad to have you on board, and it really wouldn't be possible to do this without you. This video is just an introduction to how it's going to work online. You might be really familiar with how it works in person, but obviously that's going to be a little bit different here and now. So there's a PDF document that goes along with this. It's called the step-by-step guide, and you'll see it in the team folder on Google Drive. You might want to kind of read that along and just make sure that it makes sense to you. But I'm just going to run through how Alpha is going to work online with some screen recordings and other things to hopefully make it really clear for everyone to know how to host a great group. The first and main thing to say is that each Alpha small group is going to run its own Alpha. So rather than when we do it physically and we get all together on one evening and 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, groups gather at the same time to go through one Alpha. Because we're doing it online, we're taking advantage of the flexibility that offers. So each Alpha small group is going to be its own Alpha. Why are we doing it that way? Well, mainly we're doing it because it means that we can be really flexible. We can run different groups at different times, so that if you can't make a Wednesday night but you can make a Thursday evening, we can set a group up for then. It means we can do daytime really easily. It means that we can start new groups whenever we need to. If more people get interested after week 2 or 3, we don't have to try and slot them into a group that's already starting to gel. We can just start a new group for those people. So each Alpha small group is going to run its own Alpha. You don't need to be worried about that. That's not laying loads of extra responsibility on you, because it's really simple to do, and here's how. The guests are still going to sign up centrally. I'm going to filter all that. They'll give us their details on the website, and you will get a list as hosts and helpers. You'll get a list of names and mobile numbers for everyone that's going to be in your group. They'll have signed up for the specific time and day that you're running it. And what I'd love for you to do with that information is set up a WhatsApp group with everyone who's part of your group, including the hosts and helpers. And if you want, you can include me just as a backup for any questions that might come that you don't feel like you've got the answer to. The reason we're setting up WhatsApp groups rather than email chains or anything like that is, again, it just maximizes the flexibility. It's easier to get messages across quickly, and also we're hoping that it fosters a bit more chat between sessions as people start to get to know one another a little more. It won't just be chatting for 40 minutes on a particular evening, but it allows the relationships to spread into the rest of the week, and we think that bodes really well for people having a great time on Alpha. We're going to get you all access to Zoom Pro accounts through St Philip's. You don't need to worry about sourcing that or paying for that. That's all going to be covered. And basically that means that you get a little bit more functionality. You can, as the host of a group like that, you can have a meeting that goes on for however long you want it to. You can mute everyone. If you're getting some feedback, some disturbance noise from someone in the group, you can mute it for them if they're not quite sure how. And you can chat to everybody and kind of keep things going in a way that a free account or some other tech wouldn't allow quite so easily. Once you've got your login to the Zoom Pro account, I'll send the login details separately because obviously they're going to be different for each of the groups. Once you've got the details, we'd love for you to post the URL for the meeting into your WhatsApp group to say, hey guys, we're going to be meeting at this time, really looking forward to it. Here's the link for the call, see you then. People can then follow that link and jump straight in. And I should say that the guests have got a video a little bit like this, which explains how it looks from their side. So they will be getting really similar information to you and will be expecting everything that I'm mentioning now. What I'm recommending is that about half an hour before your Alpha starts, you go onto the link stphilips.org.uk/team Alpha team. Really important to get links right on a video like this. stphilips.org.uk/alpha team. In there are basically all the documents that you need to make this happen. I've tried to keep it as straightforward as possible. It's basically got the step-by-step guide, and then you'll see a folder, and in there are each of the sessions broken down. It's one side of A4, and that takes you through what you need to do for that evening. So about half an hour before, head to that link, stphilips.org.uk/alpha team. Get the session document downloaded. It's a PDF, so you can click the links straight from there. There's a little Alpha briefing video which Alpha UK have put together, and I think it's really helpful to watch that before each session because it gives you some little tips about the topics that might come up, maybe things that you want to do specifically to that session. And I think it'd be a really good refresher to come to each session having watched that. So log in about half an hour before, watch the team briefing video, which is linked in that document. And then for about 10 minutes before, and you can coordinate it with your host and helper, whoever you're paired up with, I'd love for you to make 10 minutes to pray for your guests, pray for the Holy Spirit to fill you as the team, pray that God would be drawing people to himself. And we don't want to run ahead of God in this. We want to invite him in through prayer. And we know that nothing will happen without that. So log in, watch the video, pray together, and then you're going to be welcoming people into the call. And this runs really similarly to Alpha in a physical room gathered together. Welcome people, get to know them, introduce yourself to them, find out how their week's been, a little bit more about them, get them chatting to each other for about 10 or 15 minutes. We'd love to create as hospitable an environment as possible, warm and friendly. Keep the conversation really light at this point. You don't need to rush into politics and religion and all that stuff. Just get to know people and show them the love of God through what you say. After about 10-15 minutes, you can introduce yourself, maybe get everyone's attention, and there'll be a couple of things listed on that document for the week that you might want to say at the beginning. Maybe it's an announcement to give, maybe it's something to recap from last week, but just say those things really quickly. And then what you're going to want to do is copy the link in that document that's the Alpha Film Series episode for that week. Copy that link into the chat on the Zoom call. Everyone will then get that and can copy that link into their browser, mute the Zoom call, minimize the window but don't leave the call, watch the video all together at roughly the same time. The reason we're doing it this way is to help people who don't have great bandwidth. Some people have tried the sharing screen option, but if you don't have a brilliant internet connection, it can get a bit laggy, and we don't want that to be anyone's experience. The links are all to the English version of the Alpha Film Series with English subtitles, again to help people who don't have great internet. So at least if the audio and video gets slightly out of sync, you've got the subtitles there so you can still follow along. If you've got anyone in your group where they've got a different first language and maybe it'd be really helpful for them to have different subtitles, please let me know and I'll see if we can make that possible for them. So watch the video all together, and then as that ends you can just quit the video, go back into the Zoom call, and everyone else will rejoin you because they'll have been watching exactly the same video. And here's where the discussion begins. You can do an icebreaker maybe in the first few weeks. You can throw out the questions that are on the session guide, and you can just get everyone talking. It's really helpful to get people to mute themselves so that there's not the background noise that can be a bit distracting. Maybe if people's internet drops out, you might want to type into the comments and encourage them to do the same. And maybe you do the raising hands and clapping and thumbs up and all that stuff. I'm sure you'll get really familiar with Alpha if you're not already from lots of work calls that I'm sure you've all been on. There's a couple of other things that you can copy into that chat. There's some books that they recommend, and maybe if people have got loads of time available in this lockdown season, they might be up for reading a book on the topic of the night. But what we're saying is we're trying to keep Alpha Online to an hour and 15 minutes from start to finish. So that's about 10 or 15 minutes welcome. The video is about 25 minutes, and so that should leave about half an hour, maybe 35 minutes, depending on how things have gone, for discussion. Attention spans are a little bit shorter online, so we're not wanting to drag it on for too long because we'd rather people came back the next week still with lots to say rather than it dragged on and they were starting to lose attention and watching something else in the background. So an hour and 15 minutes after your Alpha's started, you want to round up the conversation, say, here's what we're looking at next week. We'd love to see you then. Any questions, let us know on WhatsApp or give the team an email on alpha@stphilips.org.uk. That's how Alpha's going to work. I hope it's really straightforward for you, and all the information, the links that you need will be in the documents that are all available through stphilips.org.uk/Alpha team. If you've got any questions at any point, if there's something you'd love us to pray about, or you encounter a problem that you'd love for us to work through together, please get in touch. one of the Alpha team and the central office in the UK has said what we're trying to do at the moment is basically deploy an army. Rather than getting people into our units and running big Alphas that are centralised, we're basically deploying an army across the city to run loads of little Alphas to hopefully take advantage of the increased awareness of Alpha, the increased desire for something like Alpha that this virus has brought on. You are that army being deployed all across Greater Manchester, and I'm so glad to have you on board. But what an army needs is really good training, which I hope this has been. It needs really clear communication ongoing through the weeks, and it needs a common purpose. And we're all here to see people's lives be changed by Jesus. I'd love for you to keep praying. Maybe every day you could pray for people in your group by name, pray for interest to be piqued across the city. I'd love for you to keep giving your all to Alpha, and I'd love for you to keep in conversation with us. None of us are experts at doing this. We're all trying to find our way, and if you can see things that we could do a bit better, please get in touch with me at alpha@stphilips.org.uk. I'd love to hear from you, and I'm so excited for all that God is going to do through our Alphas online at the moment.